Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back with another interesting topic on Vedic astrology. And today we'll be talking about a sutra given to us by the great sage Jaimini, the second generation to sage Parashara, who essentially has done a lot of work in terms of the padas or the arudha lagnas. And people who are not familiar with what an arudha lagna is, please refer to my earlier videos. So of course Parashara also discussed, or sage Parashara rather I should be saying, also discussed about arudhas. But arudhas and divisional charts, and especially navanshas, all this has been done or the study on arudhas and navanshas and the divisional charts has been done in greater detail, so as to say, by the second generation to sage Parashara, which is sage Jaimini. So according to one of his sutras, he has mentioned that in case the upapada, now for people who are not familiar with upapada, please refer to my earlier video on upapada. Well, I'll just give you a little brief what upapada is. Upapada is the arudha of the 12th house, and how to calculate arudha, again I'll request you to refer to my earlier videos, people who are not familiar with arudhas already. So the shloka or the sutra of sage Jaimini goes like this: Rahu Shanibhyam Pavadatya Yago Nashova, which means that in case the upapada, which I just discussed and told you about, or the second house from upapada has an association with Saturn and Rahu both, or if the upapada or the second house from upapada has an aspect of Rahu and Shani both, then a person abandons his wife because of the fear of society or something which is related to the society. Now, certain other scholars say that, well, regardless of whether society is involved here or not, this shloka or this sutra can be interpreted as that the person abandons his wife. So even if society is not involved. So what is the condition once again? That the upapada the upapada or the second house from upapada has to be either associated in some way with Rahu and Saturn, or the upapada or the second house from upapada has to be aspected by both Rahu and Saturn. So it's both here. It's not just either Rahu or Saturn. So the condition here is very simple or very clear. The upapada or the second house from upapada has to be either aspected or associated by both Saturn and Rahu. And in that case, a person abandons his wife, and that's very clearly mentioned in the sutra which I just gave you by the great sage Jaimini. And let's test it on a very important birth chart. And the birth chart you see is on the screen is of Lord Rama. People who are not familiar with Lord Rama's. Now you're going to ask me, how do we get Lord Rama's birth chart? Well, it's been mentioned in various scriptures, so it has his reference from various scriptures. It is not just somebody's imagination. So on the screen the chart what you see is of Lord Rama, and we know, as per Ramayana, people who have read the Ramayana or know the story of Ramayana, that Ram had to abandon his wife Sita because of reasons related to the society. And this shloka or the sutra of say Germany confirms that. How? Look at the chart here, and once again look at where the Upapada falls, and Upapada is the Arudha of the 12th house. So if you calculate the Arudha of the 12th house, it falls in where Sun is placed, which is the 10th house. Okay, and the second to the 10th house is the 11th house. So once again, the condition is that either the 10th house or the 11th house, which is second to the 10th house, should either be associated with Saturn and Rahu both, or it should be aspecting, or Saturn and Rahu should be aspecting both the 10th house and the 11th house. So what is the condition which is fulfilled here, which made Ram abandon his wife? And that's very sad, but this shloka or this sutra given by the great sage Gemini confirms that. So if you look here, the Upapada falls in the 10th house where Sun is placed, and Rahu through its 5th house aspect is aspecting the Upapada, and Saturn is directly through its 7th house aspect is aspecting the Upapada where Sun is placed. So both Saturn and Rahu are aspecting the 10th house, which is the Upapada. Okay, so it fulfills this sutra, and we know it we all know that Ram had to abandon his wife. So this is a little advanced topic today, and if you come across charts where you see, and in old days and ages, as you would notice that always the great sages have mentioned that the man abandons the wife. It's the man always who has the upper hand. In today's day and society, it could be the woman, so you can interpret it accordingly. Those days and ages, women never used to abandon men. It was the men who had this privilege, by the way. In a modern day, it could be interpreted in a woman's chart. If the Upapada falls in a woman's chart in some house, and if that house is either associated or aspected by Rahu and Saturn both, or if the second to the Upapada is either associated or aspected by Rahu and Saturn both, then there's a likelihood that the woman may abandon the husband. So don't just take it one way, like it used to be in the olden days, where it said that this shloka said that a man will abandon his wife in such a situation. So here, as you see very clearly, this shloka or the sutra fulfills the condition. And Ram, I'm not going to get into the ethical part of it, whether he did it right or he did the right thing or not, or he did not. We're not getting into that, but it is just to prove that these shlokas and these sutras given to us by the great sages are so correct, and this is being confirmed by none other than the chart of Lord Ram, who had to, abandon his wife because of whatever reasons, once again. So hopefully you did enjoy this little video on a sutra given by the great sage Gemini on marriage and relationships. It is very relevant to today's days and age, especially when so many divorces are happening and so many women are leaving their husbands and husbands are leaving their men. So very importantly, look at the Upapada, look at the second house from Upapada, and see whether Saturn and Rahu both are aspecting either the Upapada or the second house from Upapada. So in the meanwhile, I would recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I'll see you with an interesting topic on Vedic astrology very soon. Goodbye.